Hello. Today we'd like to talk to Dr. Lightman about the deeper meaning behind the custom of the blessings that exists in Judaism, and we'd like to focus on the morning blessings, Birkot Ashachar, what a person says when he wakes up in the morning. Yeah, what caught me about the Shachar blessings, the morning blessings, is that immediately when a person wakes up, he says it prepares his entire perception of reality for the upcoming day. And when I read about it, I read that these blessings were set in the Talmud as blessings that have to be said immediately when a person wakes up. He blesses the Creator for giving him back his soul. You created it, you fashioned it, you breathed it into me, you safeguarded it within me, and eventually you will take it from me and restore it to me in time to come. As long as the soul is within me, I gratefully thank you, Hashem, my God and the God of my forefathers, Master of all works, Lord of all souls. Blessed are you, Hashem, who restores souls to dead bodies. This is actually what a person who wakes up, this is what he says, and then there is an entire series of blessings when he hears the sound of the rooster, when he opens his eyes, when he puts on his clothes, when he stands up, when he puts on his shoes, any small action he does, he has to say a blessing for it, then he washes his hands. Any tiny action that a person does when he wakes up in the morning, he says a certain blessing for it. That's interesting how these customs were set. Probably it's not in vain. What's the purpose? There are two levels here and a person's attitude towards life. Where does it all come from? Let's begin with that. It's not that we open a book that someone wrote, where he expressed himself, and where did he take it from? Books don't simply drop from the skies, and also there's no voice that comes from the skies, even though that it says so, but let's be realistic. And what are the skies? What are the firmaments exactly? What is it? The clouds, the stars, beyond the stars. Meaning all these things have to be defined more precisely, otherwise we'll get confused and we stop thinking about these things altogether. Like we see with this generation. And even those people who decide to become religious, they also don't understand what does it mean, what is it about. They simply accept it as is, and they have a certain justification that, people don't understand anything in life anyhow, so at least I'm taking something that's with us for a few thousands of years, and there's a certain force to it that keeps the nation, strengthens the nation, and so on. But the ones who can talk about it truly are only the ones that are engaged in the wisdom of Kabbalah, because the Kabbalists, they brought all these things to the people in this world. Where did it all come from? As a result of people feeling inside themselves a very strong, powerful desire to discover the meaning of life, the reason, the source of life. What am I living for? What is the meaning of life? Like Bala Sulam asks in the introduction to the Talmud of the 10 Sfirot. And they discovered it. And what did they discover? They discovered that inside the nature that we feel, there is a more inner part, much greater, more powerful than the one we discover in our senses. And that secret, hidden part of nature is actually governing us. And a person, the goal of his development is actually to connect with that part of nature which is governing us, called the Creator, Bore in Hebrew, because he really creates the person, corrects him, arranges him, carries out all these changes in us daily, and therefore every time we feel changes. And therefore the Kabbalists, they follow the discernments that exist in the control of this system, this upper system, the way it controls us. And they determined that if they feel the system, the force which operates them, that's called day. They call it day. And if they distance from that force, that's called evening. And if they go into a state where they're completely disconnected from that force, that's called night. And if they come back to the revelation, to the feeling of this upper force which governs them, they return to be in contact with them, that's called morning. And then, accordingly, they felt their attitude towards all these states which a person undergoes necessarily in order to allow a person in all of these, let's call them four seasons or four times of morning, day, evening, and night, like the four seasons of the year. In general, everything is divided into four. Maybe we'll talk about it a bit later on, about the Havaya, Yud K, Vav K, the four discernments, the four Bechinot in Hebrew. And accordingly, they've expressed their attitude toward that higher upper force. They discover that he is good, that does good, and also those things which are evening and night, so to speak, unpleasant, and things that are morning and day, which are pleasant. We have to go through all of these things in order to differentiate between good and bad, light and darkness, reception and giving, truth and false, on different levels that a person can differentiate. This upper force takes us through that, and all that for our own benefit, so that eventually we'll come to a state of they shall be as God, knowing good and bad. And therefore, for each and every action which this upper force takes us through, we have an attitude towards that where we want to accept it with understanding as something good, necessary, which develops us, that it's all for our own benefit. And from here come the blessings, meaning that the Kabbalists, they felt towards that upper force that they have discovered his actions, operations over them, that he gives them the mind, the heart, the understanding, the development. They can see his actions, attain him, come closer to him, feel how much love and warmth he has towards all of his creatures, especially towards humans, especially towards Israel, meaning those who yearn for him. Israel in Hebrew means to be aimed straight at the Creator, Yashar Kel. And they wrote all these things, and of course they attained all these things, and they don't need to write it for themselves, because for them it's something internal. It's like if I love someone, I don't have to read it from the book what I want to say to that person, words of love, and so on. And therefore, they wrote it for other people. Why? Because if we, during the different events in life, we say these blessings as if we feel the upper force, as if it's operating on us, passing these different impressions onto us. And for us, day and night, it's according to the light I see outside the window. Suppose I see from the window of my room, but it doesn't matter that I'll say it this way, because the light and the darkness outside, they also stem from the feeling, the attitude of the upper force towards the whole of creation. When I'll be a Kabbalist, then for me, day and night will be something personal, individualistic, that I'll feel the attitude towards me as day or night. So maybe during the night I'll feel day and night several times, and also the same during the daytime, meaning these are inner feelings, and it's not according to the sun and the moon and the earth that's turning, building these different, creating these different artificial changes in light that we accept, see as light. Therefore, what happens here, what we got, the blessings, the prayers, requests, everything that we turn to the Creator with, we got it all from the Kabbalists who felt Him, attained Him, and they expressed this feeling in words. In the Siddur, the Jewish prayer book, Siddur comes from the word Seder, order, the order by which a person has to relate to the upper force by, and different other things they wrote. And the same applies not only to the blessings, but also to all those actions which, according to the recommendation of the Kabbalists, we have to perform, which are called the practical mitzvot, the physical mitzvot. When I get up in the morning, first of all, I have to wash my hands, in Hebrew called litol yadayim. We talked about it? No. So what does it mean, litol? Litol means to take, meaning that I, as if, want to distance my hands from reception. Hands are vessels of reception that I want to receive, that I want to grab the entire world with. And it's explained so in many books, and it's really so. So I want a distance from reception. I want to achieve bestow like the upper force. I want to be balanced in receiving from and bestowing to the world. Giving. Yeah, giving. And therefore, the very first action which I perform is I don't want to relate to the world in a way that I'm coming to conquer it now. And that's called netilat yadayim, washing the hands. But corporeally wise, I have to take a cup and pour water on the hands. Water is called the light of Chasadim. It's a special force, a special light, that if it's poured on the hands, they become clean, not clean of the dirt, but clean of their will to receive, that they want to grab the entire world. And therefore, the very first action is washing the hands, netilat yadayim.